We want to turn now, though, to a disconcerting incident in Dubai. I know Dubai very well, and I have to tell you, I am disconcerted by this, actually. A gentleman called Lee Brown from Dagenham was arrested after an incident at a hotel in Dubai. He was kept in custody for 6 days. He died on Tuesday. It is said by the authorities in Dubai that he choked on his own vomit. But there are others who say, including, it is said, people in the police station, fellow prisoners who witnessed the way he was treated. It was claimed that officers punched and kicked him during his 6 days in custody, and that was why he died. And this has opened up the suggestion that a lot of this does go on in Dubai, and that police stations are not safe places to be taken if you find yourself in Dubai. No one, of course, thinks when they go on holiday they're going to get arrested, and certainly nobody thinks they're going to die in a police cell. But is this something that you need to take account of before you get on the plane to go to Dubai? That's the question I would invite people when we've heard from a campaigner on this subject, detained in Dubai, Radha Stirling. And while you're listening to Radha, just think about whether this is going to impact on your decision to go to Dubai. You can call us on 0845 6060 973, or whether indeed you will think that the death of Lee Brown cannot just be waved away by a statement he choked on his own vomit. A lot more by way of proof and proper investigation is going to be needed, and a lot of people will be asking, what are the British authorities doing to ensure that Lee Brown's death is properly looked into? Enough of that. Radha Stirling is on the line. Detained in Dubai, Radha, when did you start that?
It's been in operation for several years now. After a good friend of mine and colleague was detained, people kept calling me asking for assistance when I realised that there was a true and ongoing need for the organisation.
Right. Now, what I want to ask you first of all is, what have your investigations into the particular case? We'll widen it out to whether this is whether police stations in Dubai are unsafe places to go from to be taken in other circumstances. But just tell us what you have found out or you think is true about the Lee Brown case.
Well, interestingly, I've been receiving reports from detainees in the prison system and people who have been released subsequently for some time now. And most of the reports have said that the most dangerous place in the whole justice system is at the police stations where you're initially taken. Some people detained there for 24 hours, some people for 12 months, even without charge. In this particular case, we've received several reports from inmates and families of inmates who were detained at that very same police station, saying that they have witnessed what happened. It went beyond a beating, in fact, that we've had reports on, to the point where he was actually hung on the wall and left for dead. Since then, I've had several accounts from other people and case studies that we've dealt with ourselves who have come forward and said that, yes, we've also been beaten. I'm now safe out of the police station, but definitely they are the most dangerous places to be. There's no
You're saying there's systematic abuse in these police stations, are you? And that there is plenty of evidence of that?
Oh, plenty of evidence, yes. Nothing very much is followed up on as far as prosecutions of the people who are causing the aggression and forced confessions and signing of documents in Arabic, violence from other cellmates that are kept in quite poor conditions. Unfortunately, the British authorities are not following up with their own post-mortem examination.
Well, Radha, I want to ask you about that, because this, it is said that he died having choked on his own vomit. Now, of course, there would be plenty of evidence of that, because there would be vomit trapped in his lungs. Now, that doesn't, of course, mean that he wasn't otherwise beaten up, because you could be sick and choke on your vomit if you were lying semi-conscious, having been attacked. But what ought to be available from an independent post-mortem is evidence of bodily injury consistent with him having been beaten up. What has happened to the body, and has there been an independent post-mortem?
As far as we know, the body is still with the UAE authorities. A postmortem has been carried out by them that concludes that there was no harm to the body. However, with Britain not following it up directly and doing their own examinations, we have to assume that these results are not conclusive to satisfy the family and other people who query what actually happened. What we'd like to see is the family bring them back and possibly do their own post-mortem examination.
Radha, are you basically saying that because Dubai is seen as a Western ally, the British government just keeps its mouth shut with all this abuse going on?
The British authorities have limited power to do much over there at the time, and we're unsure why they're not looking to do their own examinations to conclude.
Have they been like this with other deaths in custody and detentions? Do you actually get any help from the British authorities at all in all the cases that you take up?
Sorry, I can't quite hear you. Could you repeat that, please?
Do you get any help at all from the British authorities in the various cases that you take up?
The British authorities can intervene to a certain extent, but for the most part they can carry out visitations. In this case, they did try to carry out a visitation, but they were turned away by the police. It's a very controversial situation where they can't really get involved too much.
But why can the police turn someone away? It is the right of a consular officer to see one of their citizens if detained.
Well, it certainly is, and on this occasion,
it sounds as though it wasn't pushed very hard, doesn't it?
Well, it has been reported that there was some intimidation towards the British consulate from the police themselves. They said that he declined the visit, and in the event that a detainee does decline a visit, that is enough to turn them away, and unfortunately...
but anyone could say that. I would have thought the consular officer ought to have satisfied himself that this was indeed the case by inviting...
Well, I agree, yes.
Yeah, but the other point is, it does seem to me that quite a lot of this could be cleared up if there was an independent post-mortem. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there wasn't an attempt to cover this up. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was anything to cover up, but if there was something to cover up, I wouldn't be remotely surprised if the authorities in Dubai would try to do that. That being the case, it's self-evident that the body should be kept in a state where it can be the subject of further post-mortem, i.e. kept refrigerated and so on. It should be released to the family as quickly as possible, and an independent post-mortem should be carried out. But I find it astonishing if the British authorities, who after all, we pay for them to be there to defend our rights, why haven't they demanded, first of all, the release of the body, and secondly, an independent post-mortem, while it is still possible to discover exactly what happened?
I agree, certainly. It's allegedly not their responsibility to repatriate a body, but under these circumstances, I think that an independent investigation does need to be carried out by the British government.
Can you answer one thing? We're told that Lee Brown, the man who died, was arrested about a row in the hotel where he's staying. Do you have any details about exactly what he was arrested for?
No, I don't have any details myself. It was alleged that...
he threatened to throw a chambermaid off his hotel balcony or something, wasn't it? It was a row with a chambermaid or something, alleged assault and threats to a chambermaid. I mean, it's serious and probably a justification, if true, for an arrest. But what I don't understand is why these people then get locked up there for days. I mean, it's a simple proposition where someone is charged and then taken to a prison, not just kept in a police station where all manner of abuse is possible.
But then...
Absolutely.
This is one of those completely artificial countries which was created because it's in the interests of the West to actually have a satellite there that did what we wanted.
No, Dubai wasn't. No, let's be fair. Dubai was an existing emirate, and of course United Arab Emirates was formed to try and give them some cohesion. The people in Dubai will run their own affairs separately.
But 90% of the people who live in Dubai are people who've come in to work there. They're not allowed to vote. They're not allowed to take decisions. This is another little corrupt regime, where the royal family line their own pockets and stand against any pressure for democracy.
Well, I think the point is that that Dubai modelled itself on Hong Kong, and people are invited into Dubai, and there's no doubt about it, until the crash, it was successful. But I would have thought, if I was the Dubai authorities, I would not want it to be thought that if people come on holiday to Dubai and have the misfortune, and it can happen to anybody at any time, of getting themselves arrested, it can't be guaranteed that they won't be treated properly in a police station. Don't you think, Rad? I mean, the Dubai authorities ought to be extremely keen that this negative publicity is ended, and the best way to end it is to, if they say he choked on his own vomit, they should be, and there were no marks in his body, they should be only too pleased to have some independent surgeon come in and actually make that clear.
Well, certainly. The way that they would give the public confidence, again, is to release that body and have it independently assessed, yes.
Tell me, Radha, would you go there for a holiday yourself?
Certainly not in my line of work, no.
Okay, Radha.
Otherwise, no, I still wouldn't.
Radha, thanks very much for that. The time is 12:16.